The intro song's dope as fuck, man. Wait.
If I ever get out of this house alive, gonna set the whole goddamn place on fire. Forget about the past, the future won't last. Pretend that these stones were not meant to be thrown. If I ever get wise without putting in time, never have a fear of being alive. Forget about the past, the future won't last. Pretend that these stones were not meant to be thrown. If I ever get out of this house alive, gonna set the whole goddamn place on fire.
All right, definitely not 3 minutes. It was not 3 minutes at all. We're trying to guesstimate the length of that intro song there. I threw 3 minutes out there, and fuck was I ever off. That's about all you get for the mindlessness tonight, folks. I hope you got your thinking caps on because we brought RaptorGrow in tonight, and he's here to stretch your minds out a little bit, as always. It's always great to have you around, Raptor. Here, I don't know how to say it. You're cut above the rest of us in terms of that knowledge game, brother. And it's always great to learn from you, man. How you doing tonight?
First off, thanks for all the compliments. I really appreciate it. Yeah, doing good. Just hanging out. Actually, pretty stoked. Gonna pick up some of my mycology, like everything that I left off on. I'm gonna be picking up tonight, so that'll be cool. Just gonna be doing a couple jars in the pressure cooker, and actually gonna try out this newer tech that I found out about, and it's just like no soak grainings or no soak grains. And yeah, looking forward to it. The only thing about it is you just got to clean a little more at the end because it just you don't have to wash anything off. Like if you want to, you can, but I don't care. The fucking mycelium is gonna eat it anyway. So whatever, more food for it. It loves it. Gone for it. But in terms of everything else, just chilling, man. Hitting some bowls. Looking forward to the conversation.
Oh, great conversation will be had for sure. Speaking of bowls, what are you smoking on tonight?
Yeah, just some. Oh my gosh, it's such a staple in my fucking in my garden right now. I can't believe I'm blanking on it, but I've been it's some Irie Genetics.
Must be good.
Yeah. It's already working, right? But yeah, really liking it. I'm looking forward to my next harvest, actually, of some Irie. I got some blue raspberry truffle coming up, and like what happened was it's actually my first outdoor grow, and looking forward to it. But nothing was planned on this. I didn't even like expect to do an outdoor this year. We had to do some renovations in the house, had to clear all my shit out in my room because we were painting everything. And I was down for it because, like, hey, make it nice and white. I'm good. Make it something glossy so I can wipe down and disinfect a little easier. And they're like, yeah, that's what we picked. You know, just a little, costs a little bit more, but hey, it's worth it because it's going to last a little longer. And if you can do that, I highly recommend it. I like that lab look as much as possible. Nice white, nice clean. If I could have fucking stainless steel desks and all that shit right here, right now, it would be happening. That's just my aesthetic because I work where I sleep. Like literally where I am right now, right behind me is my veg tent. It's more than likely gonna be the first tent that's up. I'm gonna put up a flower tent pretty soon once these veg out, and then I'm gonna be going a little bit perpetual. I'm resetting up my room right now, so everything that was here is out, and I'm slowly bringing it back in. I'm actually gonna. I had this shelving unit, and it was really nice. It was on wheels too. You could take it off wheels if you really needed it to. But I liked it. I had it in my 3x3 though. Took up way too much space. So I'm going to take that thing out. I'm just going to have it growing on the side. And that's actually going to be where all of my tissue culture starters are going to be going. And I'm just going to have some lights going, and I'm going to get like a blackout tarp, like just something to block out all the fucking all the grow lights, all the shop lights. Actually, it's not even grow lights, because you do not need that much light. Don't let anyone fucking fool you into getting anything that's like more than $20-$30 per light, you know, per and I'm talking bar lights.
Wait, for what?
For tissue culture. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So don't worry about that. Same thing for mushrooms too. Like, you don't even need that. You could get away with some sunlight coming in if you're lucky enough to get a south facing window, you know, have all those fucking things coming in. I'm actually super lucky. I have a south facing window. So I actually let the sun warm up my room right now. I'm not going to say how warm it is, because I know I'm talking to Canadians, and it's just going to make you fucking jealous. Like, it's unfair. I talked to my friend Shipwreck 420, and he's just like, yeah, it's about like 19 right now, 19 Fahrenheit. I'm like, yeah, I'm like 60 above that. So yeah, but it's not that temperature outside. We actually have double pane windows on these rooms, and I'm glad we especially did it, because it worked out so well. It heats up the house really well, and especially my room, as long as I keep everything closed. And the only thing I don't like about the room that I'm in is that it's carpet. And that's something I didn't mention before on when maybe I did, but just to reiterate, if I did, carpet fucking sucks if you're trying to be sterile and you're trying to be clean with mycology, with micropropagation. So if you can, what I'm going to be doing to fucking battle that is to just get a fucking tarp. Like, it's cheap. I can readily get it, replace it, or even patch it up if I need to. I'd rather just replace it if it tears up, or, you know, is just making a mess or something. So that way I can just lay down some bleach, get a bleach soaked towel, 10% bleach. I don't see any more reason in doing that. Maybe 15% if you're fighting something. But I don't really believe you need that strength. But actually, I would put soap and water first, and then bleach it down. And that's it. That's all you really need, plus some alcohol if you really want to do it. But I save the bleach and the alcohol for my tools and just sterilizing the actual materials itself. Yeah. So that's going to be my setup. I'm just going to have like a portable table that was like $50 at Costco, you know, just something that I could fold up. And yeah, trying to be as space saving as possible, because like I said, I sleep in the same room. Like, it's really nice because it keeps me nice and fucking warm. So in the winter, I'm chilling.
I totally get you, man. Like with this laptop I'm speaking to you all on right now, this corner over there is actually up against a veg tent right now, and not about maybe 4 feet on the other side of that is a bloom tent, and just out of my reach over on this side there is my bed. So you gotta do what you gotta do, right? It's one thing I always say around here is like, we're slumming it big time around here. No big timers for the most part. It's just that's one of the things that like there's always a way to make it happen, kind of, you know what I mean? Where there's a will, where there's a way attitude. And we like to show people that, yeah, you can get it done with what you got.
Yeah. And even you got like all the things that I'm saying, that's starting to, as I was saying it, I could hear cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching on fucking like electricity costs, materials, all that. So I want to let people know, make do with what you have. If you don't have the money to do some of this, let me know and I'll give you some tips. If like, ask me some questions regarding like trying to do this on a budget. If anyone has any questions on that, anything else, let me know. If anyone, and we don't, I'm more than open to doing tissue culture talk, but if anyone has any other questions regarding any of the stuff, I was talking mycology before. I'm into vermiculture, so the raising, I'm looking more towards the raising of worms and kind of doing that as a little side hustle. Just locally. I don't plan on like doing anything. Just something to pay the fucking school bills.
Did you
Love
see how
worms.
fast Fluff unmuted when you said vermiculture? It was like, holy crap! I don't think I've ever seen him move so fast.
I was already like had my hand on the button and he said it. All right, that's just what it was. But yeah, man, fucking dude, worms are so great to get into, especially with our little hobby that we like to fucking do. There's absolutely no downside to get into it, and it's easy as fuck. So
I fucking love it. Yeah. We can start with that. Start with whatever. I'm up for anything. Like, really, this is just an open conversation. I hit you up yesterday, Caribou, just saying like, hey, yeah, I'm more than willing to, like, I have some time now.
Yeah, I think
like,
that was
tomorrow,
yesterday
let's
morning,
do it.
wasn't it?
Yeah. You're like, oh, fucking opening tomorrow. I'm like, cool.
Yeah,
So
well, that worked out really well there. We had our guest cancel for today, and then I was just like, okay, we tried grabbing a few people, but it's like, that anytime you reach out to people short notice, there's a good chance that they already got plans, and then that happened in a big way. Everyone was just shutting us down. And then it's like I saw your message. I was like, oh yeah, that's awesome. And then, but then, like I was saying to you, I got to apologize because we'd actually spoken in the summer about getting you on for kind of a sequel to the tissue culture episode, because there's a lot of, I think once people had a chance to digest that and kind of go through it a couple of times, that okay, now there's going to be a second round of questions. We're all excited about, but then
I don't even watch me.
Life goes on and it happens, and I just fucking everything got thrown on the wayside there for a bit. So that's a long rambly way of saying I did not have my shit together and was so unprepared, but for that style of show. But I was just saying, if anyone's got tissue culture questions in the chat, or you get them in there, we'll get them answered. And let's talk a little bit of vermiculture. Do you have any thoughts for what you want to do right now for getting your deal going, or like
getting that started? I'm just I've been reading Rhonda Sherman's book, Dr. Rhonda Sherman. She has her doctorate. Give her fucking credit. So I've been reading her book, medium to large scale worm farming. And it's been awesome. I've just been having that go on repeat. And you know what? To say reading the book is not true. I was listening to it because I have a text to speech fucking app program on my phone, and I let just that shit go. Sometimes it works for some books, and for other books it doesn't. So don't blame me if it doesn't work for you on the information you're trying to get. But it works just well enough for me. And dude, I'm fucking busy. I got shit to do. I got plans to take care of. I got family to take care of. I'm in and out of school right now. Like, I got shit to do. And then I'm going to be picking up more work pretty soon, probably January, February. So man, the schedule just keeps on getting tighter and tighter. So I get my knowledge in where I can, and I'm actually getting it from the fucking like a text. This is how I'm reading my biology books. This is how I'm reading my microbiology books, my fucking horticulture. I was trying to do it with my like my fucking pre-calculus, but yeah, that it doesn't work so good with pre-calculus. Like, do not recommend.
Audiobooks for
something
pre-cal.
like a math book might be a little fucking hard
Yeah.
to do. But I'll tell you what, man,
It's
like
too much.
Lowenfels and all that shit. I love just listening to his books. Although a lot of times maybe the text to speech might be better than some of these narrators. Because some of these narrators can ruin a great fucking book, man.
Yeah, I like the adage that I used to watch a bunch of Joe Rogan. I don't really catch that much of him. Like I said, I'm trying to educate myself more, and sometimes I entertain myself. But when he would say to the people who are writing books and they're going to audio, it's like, read it yourself because you know the punctuations. So stuff like that, I'd really like to hear. Like, but if we're talking like just information, there's no real excitement there. Like, I just need to know the how-tos.
Yeah, exactly. And actually, a lot of times I can listen to that robotic fucking voice easier than I can somebody who's just got like this monotone draining, just like, I'm trying to get the information, but you're putting me to fucking sleep type voice. You know, at least the robot keeps me awake.
Hey, we were
But
talking about
I'm a big fan of fucking learning that way too, man. You know, I got a lot of shit to do. You know, and I had I was working jobs where, you know, my normal schedule is 12 hours a day. You know, you ain't got time to fucking pick up a book and learn shit that way. So a lot of times just at work, right? Audio books going through my head, learning shit all the time.
Bluetooth, audiobook, fucking
Absolutely.
just going on automatic. I know you're a welder, so I could just imagine just like getting in the zone, fucking doing the damn thing. And then when you need a break, like just listen to some music. I do that all the time. Like
Right.
that's how I entertain myself. Just like, hey, I need something artistic to mix up like all this fucking science and shit because I can't stand it. Like, but it gets to me too. And
Yeah.
I think audiobooks and podcasts and whatnot are, to me, for busy schedules, the ADD mindset where sometimes it's hard to fucking just sit there and read a book, especially if the dry material, either the material is dry at all. Good novel, I found, can always suck you in. But like it's like always so busy and trying to make time to sit down and read a book. I just picked up Jeff Lowenfeld's newest book, Teaming with Bacteria. Like not even a week ago, last Thursday, I think it was. And to try and actually make that time to sit down and focus on a book when there's other stuff going on around you and you should be doing this, should be doing that. Now, if I were to get an audio version of that book, I could, while I'm doing dishes, while I'm cleaning the rat cage, while I'm stripping fan leaves because it's time to strip leaves and all that stuff. And that's where something like that's amazing.
Well, hell, you know, I actually figured out a real big problem. My sister sent me some of her old college texts, real great book on fucking propagation. And I was like fucking ready to dig into this bitch. I get up, I set it up, and I'm like 4 seconds into trying to hold a book up to read it. And I'm like, I can't fucking, you know, I got problems. You know, we're not new to anybody, but right, I can't fucking hold a book to read it. And oddly enough, ever since my neck surgery, I can't look down to read it either. So unless everything's just in perfect fucking place, I can't read a goddamn book anymore. So, you know, listening to it is actually kind of the only way I can digest information anymore.
100% audiobooks are the answer. I got hooked on them when my kids were real little and we were still rocking babies to sleep because I'd spend hour and a half, 2 hours in a rocking chair. And buddy, I got me a whole new set of culture and knowledge just from audiobooks. And then it turned into, you know, mowing the yard and then taking care of, you know, my mom's property or different things like that. It's like, oh my God, now I'm an addict, you know, with audiobooks. I'm not much of a reader, never have been, never was, but I listen to 2-3 books a month. It's game changer for me for sure.
Yeah, man, everyone's naturally curious. Like, so that's why I try to give that option. Like, hey, like encourage it. You don't have to read the book, but I do like say, like, if you really like that book, maybe you should order it. You know, some things you can't get, like the marijuana botany, I think it's called.
Is that Robert Connell Clark?
Yeah.
I've got it.
Yeah, that one has colored illustrations. So you could look it up on the PDF, but the other ones, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't have it.
This is actually one of my best books that I've found for kind of trying to learn about cannabis. Is what did I buy? I went and bought Ed Rosenthal's, one of his books years ago when I first started growing. And then there's another one from Kenneth Morrow from Trichome Industries. I grabbed his book. And Greg Green's The Cannabis Breeder's Bible were the first three I bought. And I think they're all good. They all have some little bit different stuff that the other ones don't have. But with the Breeder's Bible, I specifically bought that because, okay, I want to learn about breeding and knowledge now. It's a great entry-level book and stuff like that, but it's kind of like a lot of things. It's not long before you outgrow it. And that's where I found this book was fucking amazing. Marijuana Botany by Robert Connell Clark. I would definitely read this. This book's about as old as I am, and it absolutely still holds weight.
I got it on PDF, and that's actually how most of the books I got. Like, I got no shame, man. Like, I can't afford the thousands of dollars of like that it would cost for me to get all this material. So yeah, I get what I can get, and when I'm really interested in a book, I'll buy it for sure, and I'll support it. But
I have many leather-bound books, and my apartment smells of rich mahogany.
Yeah, that's another thing, like space. Like, if I was to literally have all those books that I do on my hard drive, it would literally be oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, I would need to build a room into a library for what's on my Audible account, and that is, and everything on my Audible account has been listened to multiple times. So I mean, I have hundreds of books, and yeah, I've gone through that shit. It's amazing, and yeah, that's cool. But onto all that, fucking, you're talking about fucking getting into worms. So what are you learning, and how are you thinking about starting this shit out? Let's fucking get through. Oh wait, and actually 311 asked that question. What are you doing with that? Did you see that?
Yeah, the besides pre-inoculated soil, well, first off, what I pre-inoculate my soil with is worm castings, to get into that. And I go 20% of the total volume, the total soil volume, to be worm castings, or as close to worm castings as you can get. Because I've heard, like, from what I've been told, at least when I talked to Clackamas Coot, he was like, yeah, the stuff that he's seen took 2 years to get to like actual castings, where like every single thing, like you take a scoop from any point of the material into your hand, it's straight up castings. But I understand that people are a little impatient. The least I would wait is 6 months for me personally to do that. But yeah, 20% of the soil volume is what I do with is what I put into there to that's my inoculation, and some good compost. I use Malibu compost because it's made in Southern California. I think it's made in Malibu. So that's ag land. They got a little bit of ag land out there. He does a good job. I like it. The last material I got was a little woody, so I will, I'm not here to kiss anyone's ass. I'll fucking say what it is. Like, it was a little woody, but hey, it still grew very well. I'm okay with it.
It just means that you can recycle that soil for a good long time, because you got plenty of life left in it.
Yeah, I can deal with it, and it wasn't too much. If it was like, I've gotten some other soils that were way more woody and like
ton of fucking tree
forest material. Yeah, it's like,
Yep.
Come on, man. It's like we're just fucking filling up you're just trying to water everything down, is how I see it. It's just watering everything down.
They're cutting the fuck out of it.
Yeah. Now, if you were to like straight up really well compost, I've seen woody material go to finely composted material. Great. But that's not what I'm talking about. This is before it gets to that. So I will say that I'm a little hypocrite. I'm a little hard on him on that, but it's great. I actually don't pay the $30 that I see everyone else paying. I pay like $20, $25. Cute. I think a cubic feet. Yeah, something around there. And it works for me. A bag works very long for me. I think I need a bag every 6 months to a year, depending on what I'm doing, and I'm reusing the soil. To get to the question of like what else I inoculate, I just use warm worm casting extract. Okay, so I don't even do like it's more of a wash than a tea. So I just put the material in some water, use the cleanest water you got. I'm not picky, but I use I just use the water from my fridge because I replace the filter all the fucking time. So it's not a big deal to me. Uh, Again, as clean as you can. If you know that there's extra, like you have really hard water, maybe don't do that. Go with DI water. And then I just let that sit, try to just agitate it a little bit. I just get a one of these chopsticks, stir it around, make sure I go all the way down. If you want to get fancy, you can get a stir plate. You know, I've seen those. Those are fucking cool. And just let it go. You know, maybe for an hour if you really want to. But the reason I do it like that is I'm fine with the biology that's there. I don't need to expand anything. Like, I'm more than happy with that. And that's my inoculant that I do at least once a month. You know, and then a lot of people say that you don't even need to do any of that stuff. And if you have really good soil, you have really good material, I think you're fine. Like, and I do the same thing with the compost the Malibu compost. I just throw it in. If you want to do a tea, I don't see a problem with that either. I just don't like adding sugars, but those sugars are going to the microbes. I just don't see a reason for me to do like such a massive bloom of all those microbes. So I'm fine with whatever the worms are giving me. I'm treating them good. I'm giving them fully myceliated grains, some millet grains that, you know, just kind of some, like one failed project of a lion's mane. I threw it in there like a month ago or something like that, within the month. And within a week, there was like a crazy slime mold that came out because I also introduced oak woodland material, like forest stuff. So things like that, I inoculate my worms, if anything. So going a little back to the whole fucking question is just start off with good material. If you can't have worms in your, like, around you, like, raise them, I am more than willing to help you out and figure out a way. If you got a small apartment, I totally get it, but you can get away with this. Like, it's totally doable. It's totally doable, and it works out for me because I just do I live pretty close to ag land, so my produce is not as expensive as some other people. So I eat a little bit more veggies, you know, and everything like that. So all that goes to my worms. They're loving it. And yeah. If you really want to be extra careful and like you don't use like you want to go fully organic, you want to make sure that it's really, really clean for your girls. This is your medicine. I'm not picky on that. I know that everything's being broken down to where I want it. But if you want to be a little extra picky, because this is your medicine, totally understand that. Start off with cocoa core. You know, I do cardboard. Again, it's all fucking carbon. Like it all breaks down. It's all fucking carbon to me. I don't see a big deal with it. Whenever I asked about it, no one really the professionals didn't bat an eye at cardboard. But if you want to be picky, go Coco Core, because that's a little cleaner. Maybe even go Botanicare, I think, has some pretty clean stuff. I could be wrong. Yeah, but there's other reputable companies that have clean cocoa, and just like I'm sure any other person who doesn't grow organically, grows with bottles, knows, hey, watch out for the salts. It might be worth paying a little bit more, and you don't want salt with your worms, like as little salt as possible. Give them your amendments. Maybe have 2 worm bins where it's like one is for veg and one is for flower, where give them the amendments you would put into your flower, give the amendments and the other one you would do to your veg. And then that goes in with your top dress. So your top dressing, like you're giving them fertilizer, which I don't really consider, like it is and it isn't. Like if you were to ask someone who's selling it, they can't legally say that it is, because they would have to pay extra. It's just one of the things that's in the business that you have to do. And so most just forego it, and they just say, yeah, it's just worm castings. It's a microbial benefit. And then that's all. Their hands are kind of tied in terms of like what they can afford to buy and license to say. And what else? I would say, like I said before, I was giving my like botched projects, my lion's mane that didn't make it, like that fucking quart jar, put it in there. They fucking loved it. So I'm feeling that they're getting a diverse amount of food for the microbes. Remember, you're feeding the microbes, not the worms. But with the worms, from what I've read, oddly enough, I guess like 3% they actually do chew and like go through. So that's how they're getting their nutrition. I'm not too sure about that, but that's what was in the book actually. So there's,
I mean, worms just eat shit and digest it back out. It's just like anything else. They go through, and it goes through their system. That's why it's important to feed them, their grit, because they do have kind of like a gizzard, I guess, is what you would call it.
It's exactly a gizzard.
Yeah, so that's what they use to break that shit up that they eat through. When it came to starting a bin, though, man, it was super easy. We're typically we're speaking to growers here, and if you weren't like a salt grower, say your first one, you were using just something hell, if you flushed good enough, it's still fine. Use your old fucking cocoa as a base right there. So your last plant, you were done. Then you go to your fridge, and everything you've been meaning to fucking throw out, all those rotten vegetables and fucked up shit, go throw it right on top of there, and then shred your bills right on top of that, and you got a fucking worm bin.
That's
and
the
off you
beauty
go.
of it, man. You don't have to be picky.
It's that easy.
I really try, just to go on to that. Like I tell people, like just give them whatever the fuck you got.
That's the thing. I mean, there's so much waste in most of our homes, right? You're gonna eat or do something that you've left out, and the worms will fucking eat it. When you learn, what you can like vermicompost, what you can just compost out your yard. Hell, if you start a bokashi bucket, then you can really get into composting some crazy shit. And you can pretty much compost anything that comes out of your kitchen and never have to throw any of that in the garbage. So, it's a great way to start looking into these things. And a lot of them, the worm bin, man, it does not stink. You could literally put my worm bin under your sink, right? Or like where your garbage is. And instead of throwing shit in the garbage, throw those fucking vegetable scraps right on top of it. And man, it's just that easy.
Yeah, I got 2 in my room with me. I got them stacked up on each other, and they're just 26-gallon bins. And you don't have to go that big. You don't. I just went that big because, hey, fuck it. I got 1,000 worms, and then I waited a little bit, made another bin, took half of them, put in the other bin. Now they're both expanding. And 1,000 worms is what they rounded out to is about a pound. And and when it's warmer, they might get through like a pound a week. When it's cooler in temperature, they're going to slow down. That's just the microbes. They're keeping pace with everything. And the cool thing is they self-regulate. So if you want to keep them there, keep them there. But I eventually, I've been considering breeding because there's such a shortage. Like it went from like $45 a pound to like 60 plus now is what I'm seeing. And it's crazy.
And it's ridiculously easy how fast they propagate. I mean, you just build yourself a, I've always laughed. I just turn, like when I make a new bed or a pot or something, I always laugh. I just turn one of my fucking worm bins over in it. And that's kind of where I start building my soil. But then basically I don't do anything but add more soil and more food and things to the worm bin I just turned over. I don't add more worms to it. I just add more fucking shit that they like. And there's like 3 or 4 eggs that are stuck in there, and that repopulates the whole damn thing, and you're off and running again. And like, it's amazing how quick they get moving. I mean, they populate fucking fast.
I know I'm trying to get more worms. This past year, I replicated something that I did a few years ago that was just pure laziness, and that was I blew all my leaves together on the south side of my house, and then when I got them in a nice big pile in a row, from that point on I got lazy and just left it over the winter. But then that next May we were getting ready to go fishing, and I'm thinking, well, let me go flip over this pile, and I found millions of worms in all stages, from cocoons, babies to adults, just millions of worms. And so I thought that was going to be my fishing worm stash, but this was before I was kind of hip to the organic life and growing, you know what I mean? And so then this last year, I'm like, all right, I'm going to do it again. I'm just going to do a leaf pile. I'm leaving those bitches on purpose. I'm going to have millions of worms. Well, the neighbor got free range chickens, and I wasn't keeping an eye on it. And
they had plenty of worms.
Man, those are actually fucking T-Rexes, just 65 million years later, because they destroyed everything that was made out of meat in that pile. I thought my wife ran over with the lawnmower. I'm like, babe, have you been mowing my leaf pile? She was like, no, you moron. Have you seen those chickens just scratching and picking through that thing? It just destroyed the whole thing. So
yeah,
I'm trying
chickens, man. Fuck.
They're fucking monsters, dude. I mean, you don't give them credit, but if you're a bug, they're a motherfucking nightmare.
But yeah, it's that easy to collect worms, though. You're absolutely right. Hell, you don't even have to do that. Go throw a piece of cardboard out on your lawn.
Piece of cardboard out, that's right.
Yeah, and just come back to it a fucking day or two later, and you'll have fucking worms aplenty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I actually really like what you were saying though with the leaves. That one would be more of what, like, if I'm digging into my garden, I'm kind of sketch, like for my outdoor veggie patch, I'd be sketchy on those because there's different kinds of worms that do different things. So what we're talking about is composting worms. So those ones will go like that. They might hang out, like go a little bit down into the soil, but if there's something to eat on, to munch on, anything where there's microbes growing, they'll go up into that. So if you got a compost spot, like a compost patch, that's where you'll find your worms that you're looking for. So be a little cautious when you do that. I'm not saying don't do it. Fuck it. I mean, you're getting worms.
No, your leaves are still fine that way. Those are still going to be the worms that you're looking for. What people kind of more or less, I found a way to like get night crawlers. All right. So night crawlers, not a particularly good composting worm, right? They do a little bit, but they're more really good for soil aeration, right? They like to go vertically rather than horizontally, and they like to, go fairly deep. And they don't eat a whole lot. Yeah, right. And they don't eat a whole lot, but there's a great way you can use like black walnut juice. I've been researching black walnuts a lot, but you can use like you soak a bunch of black walnuts in water, dump that out on the ground, and just watch the fucking night crawlers start coming out of the fucking ground. It's really neat. Great for somebody like you motherfucking holler wants to go fishing and get all his worms, right? Because he's going to get all those big fat night crawlers. But that doesn't give you the composting worms, right? But when you set something down like that cardboard and you see all those other detrivores down there, and you see those specific worms, those are the ones that are doing all the composting. And that's how you kind of know that's what you're looking to collect.
Yeah. And I like what I would do is I would actually just get a whole bunch of fucking cardboard. And this is what I do for my bin is I have a paper shredder that my family just already had because they were like, I forgot how they got it, but it's this huge fucking thing. And eventually I found out that it could handle cardboard, like corrugated cardboard. I'm like, fuck yeah. So I was taking that, been using that, and that's my bedding for my worms. So if you got something like that, or if you don't, fucking check out Costco. I think for like $50, you can get one that does like a crisscross cut. So it's even less, like it's even smaller material. So it's more smaller material means more surface area. More surface area means more places for those fucking microbes to grow, and you're set. So I'm not gonna buy it. I'm sure once this thing breaks down that I have, yeah, I'll fucking buy something like that, and it'll be more of an investment for me. But hey, if you can't afford that, look on Facebook Marketplace. Look on whatever the fuck you can. There's businesses that there's places that go out of business, and they're just trying to get shit out. They're trying to liquidate. So keep an eye out for that. You don't have to spend a lot of money. And I encourage people to, if you don't have the money, don't worry about it. Just try to fucking do what you can with what you have. So I've been really liking that, the bedding, that even though it's just one cut, it's been fucking dope, man. I really like it. It's been working really well. I've been keeping up with everything that's been thrown at me from terms of all the kitchen scraps and everything. Yeah. And one thing that I've been using that I got, it was a really good tip from Genetic Memory Farm. Shout out to you, GMF. And it's if you go to the Urban Worm Bag website, it actually has a composting calculator, and it'll tell you in what ratios, what volumes. Like you could do weight or you could do volume. I recommend volume because fuck it, just grab a cup, whatever. If you got a scale, even better, you're going to be more accurate, but you don't have to fucking do anything. You could just make do with a solo cup, and you'll be fine. And it's really cool. Now for normal composting, I recommend 1 part nitrogen, 30 parts carbon. And for the worms, a good tip that I got from GMF again was go 1 to 50. 1 part nitrogen, 50 parts carbon. And they really like it. They're way more comfortable with that. So just go ahead and check that out. Anyone like that, if you're getting into it or if you're already doing it, it's a nice little tip. It really simplified stuff for me because I was hearing other ratios going around, and then I was just like kind of sketchy on it. And then
the big thing with it all is you just want to make sure you don't get your fucking bin thermophilic. If all of a sudden if you get your nitrogen to carbon ratio fucking in that right area, all of a sudden it heats up and you kill everything in there. That's when you that's when you have a real problem, and you're gonna know in a very fast manner too, because it's gonna stink like bad. But, that's what you got to watch out. That's one of the few things. You're definitely more of a pinpoint, like you like to do your stuff a little
husbandry, man.
Yeah. Well, you like to do it a little more precise where, I throw shit in mine, right? I don't worry about ratios and shit like that. I throw it in and I look down there and I go, ooh, that looks a little wet. So I'm gonna throw some carbon on top of it. And that's how I run my worm bin. And I've been very successful at that, you know.
Yeah, as long as you're throwing carbon in, you can't really go wrong. But make sure if you're at least once a week, check up on them, you know, and do exactly what you were saying. And hey, take a little whiff. Hey, is it smelly? No, okay. And actually, going to Dr. Rhonda Sherman, if you type in her name in whatever search engine, Google, whatever the fuck, type her name and type worms, and then it'll most likely send you to an NC State, you know, website, and there's a bunch of articles, and there's actually a worm bin how-to guide, and it even gives you like, oh, if it smells, it's a troubleshoot guide. If it smells, okay, do exactly what Fluff said. Add more carbon. Just add some more fucking carbon. You can't really go wrong. And just make sure, another thing is you don't want it too wet. And that's another thing that carbon can help out with. The easiest way to figure out your moisture capacity is to take up the material. Same thing with soil too. Give it a squeeze, and you want at least like one hanging drop. And if it does like a 1 or 2 drops, it's okay. But ideally, like one hanging drop, just going from there, and it's exactly where you want it. It has enough air for the roots to breathe. It has enough water for nutrient uptake. You're set in terms of plants. And for worms, they just like it that they need to breathe air too. That's another reason why I just have them chilling in my fucking room / grow room. Like, first off, they're going to be nice and comfy. It's nice and warm in here. They're breathing, so they're taking in the CO2. They're giving they're taking in the oxygen, and they're giving out CO2, and then bam, goes to the plants, goes back and forth. That's why I like doing the mushrooms as well. And most of my mushroom cultivation, by the way, is philosopher stones. So I don't even go. I skip the fruiting stage, the sexual stage. So I just go straight like into grain. I inoculate that grain, and then 3 months later, bam, I open that jar up. I got psychedelic fucking truffles. Like, and that's just the name for them. The actual, like, what's going on in there is sclerotia. So psychedelic sclerotia, if you want to be nitpicky with it. But yeah, I fucking like that. I use that for my microdosing. It's nice. Yeah. I don't even like the grains that are inoculated from that. That's what I use for my microdosing. I just put it in the coffee, bam, let it soak for a bit. There's enough acid in the coffee. It's warm enough to do an extraction process, like almost like a double extraction. Hey, I'm set. I'm fine with that. So yeah, just a little tip. You don't have to you don't have to use more material. That's another way I've gone with like saving money. It's like, yeah, it saves me a month. Like, typically it'll take you 2 months to go through a mushroom grow, but who cares? I could just do it like almost like basically perpetual. So at least once every month, I'm inoculating 1 to 2 of those jars. And then after 3 months, boom, once a month, you're going to get a fucking harvest. So you're never not going to have something that's going to, make you a little trippy or something like that. And that's another way you could like start putting in some capsules. If you got some friends that need help and using it medically, I'd use it medicinally. That part of the reason I grow is for my anxiety. Growing plants and growing mushrooms, and growing fungi, I should say. So I use it for my anxiety. It helps out a lot. A lot of stuff happened to me personally recently, and it really messed with my family, like their mentality. And yeah, I had to deal with it too, but they noticed that I was dealing with it way better, way fucking better. And what I do for my microdosing is just, you know, I was measuring it before, but now I'm just fucking eyeing it out. I don't really go fuck. I do half a gram 3 times a week: Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays. Those are my microdosing days. And then that's my coffee days. Just bam, good to go. And I'm liking it. Yeah. Oh, congratulations to fucking Colorado. That's awesome. Prop 122. Yeah, that fucking passed. What's up? Entheogens are A-okay, and people can get treatment now. Fuck yeah.
Sorry, forgive my ignorance. Up here in Canada, what's this proposition over in Colorado there?
I haven't fully read through it, but from the summary of what the summary read that I read, it's basically allowing people. There will be no one's going to be arrested or going to jail. You know, for having this, that people can grow it for growing it.
And that's for mushrooms?
They specifically said entheogens. So that's like psychedelic cacti, that's mushrooms. Yeah, I'll have to look into it more. If I'm wrong, somebody please chime in. Like,
great,
I want to know.
Broad spectrum.
Yeah, it's a broad spectrum. So
mushrooms.
that's why I'd say, what's up?
Okay.
Yeah, so now there's going to be a fucking demand. Like, you guys got dispensaries up there. I think that's fucking cool. I would love to talk about that for a little bit, you know, a little later. But now we're going to have that in Colorado, where there's going to be dispensaries for mushrooms. So now there's going to be mushroom growers going to fucking Colorado, like it was for cannabis for Colorado and California. So it's the green rush. It's the mush rush. I'll call it that. I'm sure there's a better name for it. There's someone's going to come up with something better.
Fucking awesome is what it is. How's that for a name? Huh?
Yeah. I'd love to personally. One of the projects that I want to be working on once I get some seeds is working on some lophoforas. So that's peyote buttons for anyone that doesn't know, like genuses. And specifically Lophophora williamsi. So that'd be cool to work with that. Those are the ones that those are the fun ones. And I want to work with them on tissue culture because they are actually being poached right now, like to the point where they might even go extinct. So if you're one of the people that poaches, and I don't think that's fucking cool. Like, that's not okay. How I see a way to combat that is with tissue culture. And you start off with one, you know, it's going to take a little bit, you expand it, but it's going to grow way faster than if you did it on a potted soil, you know, potting mix or whatever substrate you're using. Yeah, it's that's how I see it being done. I'd actually recently been doing some research for the last year on native plants of California, and I've got to realize that there's a much bigger native presence in my area than I thought. So it'd be cool to just kind of like, hey, you want to work with me? Like, if you let me work with you, I can give you what you need for your spiritual journey. Like, and I don't mind. It's like they need, and they'll pay for it. They want people, they want to use it. And at the same time, if I give them an option of like, hey, you can use it and it's not going to be something that it's sustainable. Like, yeah, it's not going to be organic, but it's sustainable. I could give you whatever you need. And I would even be more than willing to teach some of them to do it themselves. Some tissue culture of that, so they can have their own. If something ever happened to me, then there goes their supply. No, I'm totally okay with teaching them, because who am I to fucking hold that knowledge? This is the whole point. Like, I come on these fucking shows, you know, and talk about this stuff. Just whoever wants to pick it up, go pick it up where I left off and do better than me. Teach me. If you do better than me, I'm all for it.
Okay, now here's another one, and once again, forgive my ignorance. We're using words like poachers, which I live in hunting communities, right? So I'm thinking of illegally harvesting animals, killing them.
That's
And whatnot.
exactly it.
Are these a protected plant species, and you're not allowed to be touching them, kind of thing?
You can't. Well, first off, like it's illegal to be touching that stuff. That's why I'm saying I would like to work with native tribes locally if they're interested, and then I would be able to legally do that. So until California gets its shit straight, like Colorado, that's how I would work into that. But other than that, you know, maybe some just happens to appear in my fucking mailbox. I don't know, got foraged somehow. I don't know. That would be fun to work with. Yeah, it takes years. Years. But like I said, you can actually speed up the process with tissue culture and just keep taking explants from the donor plant and then expanding those and then expanding those. And then actually I touched up on it on my talk last time. You can actually use a bioreactor, and that's where you use a little bit of genetic material, or what ideally more is better because then it's going to grow faster. But there's only so much space you can fit within a vessel depending on the volume of the vessel. And yeah, if you have that going, it's basically I might be able to find a picture, but it's just faster for me to explain it. So just think of like a soda bottle. Okay, so just imagine a soda bottle vessel like that, and you can actually have you could do it very simply and put a stir bar in there, like one of those little stir bars, put it on a stir plate, have it going with the right medium, put the properly aseptic material in there, do all your lab, you know, preps the right way, set it up like that, and the moving of that propeller motion is going to aerate it. You're actually going to be feeding all of that plant material with the solution that's in there. It's just an aqueous solution. It's just water-based. Have that going, and then it's going to grow on its own. We do that in mycology as well with liquid culture. So it's the same thing. It's a bioreactor. So you could just do it in a quart jar is how I'm going to be doing it. I'm going to be expanding my cultures really soon to like start selling that shit. But and giving it away to some friends. You know, I got some birthdays to catch up on that I missed. And yeah, I know my friends would love it. But yeah, you just grow it in a vessel. Same thing. It's just all genetic material and you're expanding it. And guess what else we use that in that is the literal same? Compost tea. A compost tea is just a bioreactor. You're expanding genetic material. Okay? I should have just said that in the fucking first place. That's the simplest way to fucking put it. But yeah, if you can, it's the same thing, but more sterile. And you have to be a little bit more exact with the nutrients that you got. But it can totally be done, and you can use hydroponic nutrient solution. Yeah, cheers, everyone. So yeah, you can grow that peyote. It's going to take a little while, but you're going to have enough material. You know, once you expand it, then it's just like endless. You could have millions if you really want to, and you have the will. There is a way, and you know you're okay with spending the money. You're okay with spending the time. You can have that. You're willing to give that space and put it there. You totally do it. And I'd much fucking rather have people doing that than poaching. Okay. So
I saw someone in there. I say it takes 10 years. I'm assuming what they were getting at is it takes 10 years. It takes that long for the peyote button to develop. If that's the case, how much faster are you speeding up the process by doing it tissue culture with your indoor growing processes or whatever?
Well, not much faster, but once you get it large enough to acclimate, and that just means to get it outside and like not be under fucking plants, you know, or sorry, not be under grow lights. You can graft it and it'll grow much faster. I don't know to what extent, but it will grow much faster. And you can graft it. I forget the kinds of species. Forgive me. It's been a while since I actually looked into this, but I know a little bit about it. But you can graft it into other plants, other cacti, and it'll grow out much faster. There's purists out there that say like, oh no, like that's not how it would be in nature. But hey, I mean, it's again, if you're using this to harvest and it takes away from poachers, I don't really give a fuck. And if you're just growing it for yourself for just shits and giggles, who cares? You want it to grow a little faster? Who cares? Do it. Do what you want. Those people aren't fucking paying your bills. Why should you give a fuck about what they say? You know? Do what needs to be done, you know, with respect. You know, and exactly. Like, as long as you're not poaching, I'm okay with it. I'm seriously okay with it. I got a big problem with poachers. There's a bunch of poachers right now. I'm sure lots of people know people that burn sage, white sage. Salvia apiana is the species, and that only grows in my area. It's everywhere. It's being sent to China. It's being sent to like all these fucking hippie guru people. Hey, I don't burn it as like a ritual. I just burn like a leaf, and I like the smell. It's very calming. I actually really like it. But I only need to burn a leaf. After learning what I have, it's being ripped out of native lands by the root. Like shit like it just fucking pisses me off, man. Don't like, whether they're native or not, like you're going on someone else's property and you're stealing shit that's been there for multiple generations to where they have a history with it. Like their great grandfathers, you know, we're going to those patches, whether it's white sage like that or peyote. I mean, it's something significant to them. And then just because we heard of it recently, like very recently, you know, now everyone wants it and they're fucking poaching it. It's that shit just pisses me off personally. Like, and I don't, if you can cultivate it on your own, do it.
I'm just curious, like, you know, cactus are one of them cool things that you can graft really, really, really fucking easy. Is the peyote something that can be grafted super easy to another like a viable, fast growing rootstock or not?
Now I remember you could actually use a San Pedro as the rootstock. Yeah, so
well, that one's not particularly fast growing either, is it?
That actually grows pretty fast, and it multiplies. It propagates very easily as well. Like my friend has a bunch of them on his property, and they're not illegal. You know, that as long as you're using it for what's the term, like as like a landscape plant, you know, you're not harvesting it. It's not illegal. But guess what? You got to trim back your plants eventually, and then you got to get rid of those plants. So they're not going to be particular on how, you know, as long as you're not fucking having a lab outside your house. And if you can't grow peyote in your area, more than likely you can grow San Pedros. So that's another thing. If you're looking to extract from those, like from one or the other, before I learned about how fast you could propagate peyotes, you know, and the fact that what I just explained with tissue culture, that method, I was the person that was saying like, oh, just grow San Pedros. You're going to need more to get the same extraction, you know, the same amount of the extracted material, but you didn't have to fuck up a plant that's been there for like 100 years, and they grow a while, like that's many, many decades. I can't remember. I don't know if they grow more than 100 years, but I'm sure there's got to be one out there that's like the fucking great grandfather of all of them, you know. So yeah, you can grafted material grows faster for sure, depending on the plant species. yeah, it's gonna like a cacti is not gonna grow too fast, but hey, I encourage people to pick up a San Pedro cactus and fucking just put it out in their yard if they got a yard, or like whatever you got, put it in a pot. Watch how fast it grows. You know, in a year or two, you'll be surprised. You got enough material to fucking to do what you want to do. There's extraction methods out there, but I don't really want to get this video banned. So yeah, I have a little bit of a background on chemistry for certain reasons of my own. But yeah, that's kind of how I got into some of the science on my side. That was the last thing that I was into, was actually biochemistry. So that's what I was going to school for before. And then I got really into horticulture just because I kind of co-aligned with me growing my first, my first garden of cannabis. So I was like, okay, I realized how much love I have for this fucking plant and all plants. You know, as I'm doing more and more studying, like, damn, like I was telling you guys about California native plants. I've just been learning about that for a couple years, but really into it for the last year. I have one of the largest California native nurseries next to me on the West Coast, and shout out Tree of Life Nursery. They're fucking awesome, man. They do a bunch of they teach about all the native plants, and we have a lot of different ecological zones. Like we have a coastal zone, we have foothills, we have chaparrals, we have woodland, oak woodlands, like where there's little patches of forest of oaks. So it's really fucking cool over here. Just part of what I was doing for school in the spring semester that just passed before was I took that class, and it was literally every 2 weeks field trip, and we're all learning about the plants that are there, and it was fucking awesome. I really want to do that again. Been sneaking into some classes with him where he was like repeating the class, and he was like, oh, hey, welcome. And they're actually covering different material. So I might actually retake that class, but not like, he's super cool. He would be like, he wouldn't care if I didn't pay. I could just show up and just be like, oh, hey, how's it going? And then learn the material. And then I could easily ask him like, hey, if there's any new material that you're covering, please let me know. And I want to read about it. So I'm endlessly, I'll fucking be that forever student. And not because like I'm not passing shit. It's like, cause I'm fucking curious, you know. Oh, and by the way, if you can't afford like healthcare in the States, go to a community college, take one class. It's fucking cheaper than healthcare, and you'll get something, and it's better than nothing. So yeah, a little tip that I got. And hey, you'll get to take a class, take a guitar class, take a fucking a carpentry class, a woodworking class. You know, I'd love to do that shit. Like, take something that you're interested in. That, you know, anything. Take a pottery class. I've been wanting to take a pottery class. I might just do that on the side once I'm done with school. And there's a bunch of stuff I want to make. I want to make like fermentation vessels. I want to make like some crazy shit, some oyas. I don't know if you guys know what oyas are, but they're what natives use. It's basically just a pottery jar.
Clay vessel in the ground.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then it's not kilned to where there's an outer glaze. They leave that to where it's just kilned without the glaze. And then you put water in that vessel, you dig it in the ground, bury it to where just the top is accessible, and you could just put the hose there, you know, whatever you use to fill up the that, and then it'll slowly percolate into the soil. And I've seen people do it with their raised beds, like, or with their like, I rest in peace, my 65-gallon pot. I don't grow in that anymore. I'm trying to be if I gotta get out of this the room that I'm in, you know, I got to be mobile. So I kind of switched to this like 2-gallon pot. Oh, nice, man. What you got, G-Bay? Oh, was that? You're on. I think you're on mute.
Just a big random jar of hash.
I'm jealous. I'm actually the next harvest. I'm looking forward to doing a hash room. Actually, but I got a whole bunch of material from like a year or two where I'm just like, whatever, like rainbow hash. You're fucking
You're
going
speaking
in
my
there.
language, brother.
Yeah. Hey, man, you got the material. Might as well use it. I mean, it doesn't
That's
matter to me if it's a little older. It's better than nothing.
Some of my better hash, honestly. I'm starting to realize, like, with this hash that came from overseas wasn't grown in a basement well taken care of at 60 all the time and manicured and washed in RO water down in the nice filter screen. It was not. It was grown in mass amounts and beaten on drums and dry sift collected and pressed together and shit like that. So that being said, yeah, some of the better stuff was honestly the older, dry, kicking around stuff. The hash is maybe not the more potent and stuff, but it settles better and cures better and lasts longer.
How's the flavor with the? So did you mix it all? Was it kind of like one of those things that they do with like tobacco, where they'll take like 5 years worth
Blend,
and kind of
yeah.
make a blend? Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
If I have enough of one strain, then it gets run as a strain. If there's bits and pieces all over the place, then yeah, just
Yeah.
salad.
Trichomes are trichomes, knockoff
Yep.
heads.
Yep.
It's a good
Yep.
going.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I've seen you do some pressing. I'm not there yet. Hopefully when I get my own place, I'm for sure just doing fucking like, okay, this room will be my hash room. Or, set up.
I'm just complete backyard. Like I don't have anything, or backyard and basement. I don't have nothing special. I'm kind of pushing it to the extreme for the home.
Yeah,
but it helps that my wife is the way she is. She's just like me, but with long hair. So it works out pretty good that way.
No,
I get more encouragement than discouragement.
That's good. That's what I like to hear. It's a good foundation right there.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So, what kind of those were like temple balls or what?
Yeah, generally what I'll do is just make bubble hash, but then the bubble hash doesn't cure as nice as I like. So I wait for it to dry out and all that, and I collect it, and then I put it in the rosin press. And actually, I don't even really turn the heat up. I turn it like a little bit above body temperature, and just kind of make it like I call it like making a croissant almost. I flatten it and fold it, and flatten it and fold it. Keep doing that until it's a nice amalgamated piece. Like this one I just made the other day. Where's my camera there? So it just turned out to like a nice chunk.
That looks good, dude.
Yeah, it's nice and greasy. Now here's another one. I don't know what strain this is, but it was a lot different, a lot chalkier, a little more brown in color. And I've got this is some of the really old drier stuff I was talking about. Sorry, this doesn't focus very nice, but that's what I just chopped up to smoke right now. It's like a blonde hash kind of. And this is my favorite. It's this stuff here. It's the last little bit of about an ounce or so, but this smokes like the most traditional. I made it sort of bubble hash, but it tastes like it's from the 90s, from the bikers or some shit. So.
Oh, nice. How do you take it? You just put it in a bowl?
Just any way I can get it, man. I can use it just in a pipe or a bowl.
Okay.
It's hard because sometimes instead of lighting and fluffing it like the old hash used to do, a lot of this stuff just melts when you put the lighter to it. So you got to get it on top of something or mixed in. In a joint's the best way. It's the least messy and burns the best. I find with a bowl, the material burns up way before the hash does. But just make a bunch more and smoke more.
Yeah, exactly. Don't stop your on. Keep it going. Yeah.
And I was just reading through chat, and I really need to address this. I need to ask this question of you, motherfucking modern stick fighting is a real thing to take in college.
Yeah, that was
What
a
the fuck?
class. That was a class.
Modern
And
stick fighting.
it's modern stick fighting, and it was some weird variation of you had they were like I think they were bamboo with 2 sticks,
Oh shit.
about
That's
30
gonna
inches long, and we just went through forms the whole time and clanking them off of each other and shit. And I got credit for that, along with whitewater rafting.
Nice.
It's a fucking great semester, man.
Hell yeah.
But you didn't get to hit anybody?
No. That
man.
shit actually hurt.
Well, yeah.
those-
bamboo.
It's supposed to.
Fuck.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, that class was a bunch of people just like myself. We were like hungover, fucking here for the credit.
Yeah, who the fuck else is gonna take a class?
Yeah.
I haven't. Like, you mean you weren't a serious academic taking a course like modern stick fighting?
Yeah, it's like you see that on like sign
Holy
me up
shit.
for that. Yeah.
I would have thought you were going for like your PhD and I don't know, partying or something like that. At least.
My dad thought I was going for a PhD, but partying my dick off.
Did you get I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed talk when he finally found out what the real deal was?
Yeah, it was like it broke in slowly, you know what I mean? Like by the time I ended up moving back home, like still taking classes and not talking about it a whole lot.
Wow, it's a smoke trailing.
Oh, it was such a disappointment.
That's
Hey, man.
I hear you.
I keep fucking switching majors. Just like, oh yeah, I was taking classes on this. Like, also, the reason I know about tissue culture actually is I took biotechnology, a couple classes, and I'm actually going to go back to like just get my certs like all set to go for that for my lab, like my lab background. But yeah, biotechnology is how I heard about it, and it's like it's just applied microbiology. It's how do I make money with microbiology? And hey, if people are interested in stuff like this, just look up biotechnology courses in your area. You might even be able to take some online. So fuck it, you don't even have to waste money on commute. That's where it is right there. And that's actually why I was looking to get back into it on the side, because that's an online class that I can take.
And I forget, my son does these things. It's almost like a Amazon service or something like that, where you can just buy courses, and these like random ass courses just go on sale all the time. So he's just constantly learning about like some weird ass fucking thing, but there's always something like super relevant. Like, and these are like college courses, right? That they're selling to people, but you can buy like, a fucking German course for like $30, when it goes on sale, but and it's all like legit, you don't get credits or anything for it, but it's all legit and it's super cool. I forget what the name of that is though.
There's actually a, if anyone's interested in just getting a free education and like where it's quality material, look up Harvard X. Every semester they have a couple classes that are free. I think I saw like something in mushrooms on like last semester, but man, just my home life is super busy right now. Like my schedule, like there's not enough time to add on stuff at the moment. Next semester, I'm going to be picking up more classes. I'm going to be picking up some work. So just going to be even more slammed. But I am interested in it. But if anyone else, look it up and you'll find some good. I'm sure you'll find 1 or 2 classes that you can take for free or like $30, just like Fluff was saying. And then it gets up a little bit more with some other stuff. It just depends. They have new stuff all the time. So, and you can actually get a degree through Harvard with microbiology online, I believe. So if you're interested in these kinds of things, look into it. But you would, if you want the degree, you would have to pay then it's not free. So that's where they get you. But it's a couple grand, and it's a lot less than it would have been if you fucking just went to Harvard. But if there's some, or another school. But I forget the exact number, but it was pretty affordable comparing to, it's like 20% of like a normal tuition from other places. So not too bad. Like you're still paying a couple grand, but hey, you're getting that, you're legit, and you don't have to go all the way. If you're just naturally curious like me, I'm looking at stuff all the time. Like, just take the class, and then you'll know it. And then if you actually you can apply that to some other position, like in horticulture, like you could be a greenhouse tech, but like know a lot more, and then kind of just move up because you knew what's up. You don't have to get a certification in horticulture. It's just looked more favorably upon. But if you know somebody and you can get that job, go for it. You don't have to go to school. And I hate it when people are like pressuring that stuff. It's not necessary. You can get away without it, and you can get paid very well. Like we were just talking about it before you were in live. Like, I don't see a reason why people need to go. Like, you can get what you need out of life without going. So just because you hear me talking about, you can do this, you can do that, you don't have to. Just find your own way. But if you do want to go that way, I can offer you some advice to get some free, that's how those PDFs I mentioned before, a lot of them are my textbooks, right? And I ripped that off the internet. I don't have the thousands of dollars that it costs for all of the textbooks. Some classes, there was one landscape design class that I was taking that it wasn't like, she wasn't saying you have to get all this, but she was like, these are all these things that I recommend. And it was like 20 fucking books. And I was able to get most of them for free, like 15 of them for free. And then the ones that I didn't, I was like, oh, we're looking into it later. And now that I'm more wise to all of that in terms of like that material, now I actually want to get those books. So I'm still getting books, and it's totally doable. It's totally doable. I mean, save up some money. You don't need as much money as people think. You can also go on financial aid. Don't be ashamed. Like, fuck it. That money's there, and it's there for people that need the help and need to like just make it worth it. Go for, if you're using those kinds of things, make sure you make the most of that degree. And that's what you really want to do. And I just don't encourage people who are just going to college to just go to college. Like, hey, if you don't want to go, like, don't. Like, there shouldn't be any expectations, even out of society. I don't think that's right. Like, I don't, like, especially talking to so many more people in the community and learning about more and more people, like, hey, this person's fucking awesome, and they didn't need that. They didn't need to go to college, like, and they're making bank too. Talk to a lot of people, like, they're 6 figures, and they're like, yeah, I didn't go to college. It's like, damn, making more than me. I've fucking been in college for a while. So don't let it discourage you. But if you're naturally curious and you like learning, that it's fun for you, it enriches me, go for it. And then go to community college. Fuck it. It's the same fucking books. I've had teachers that worked for UCLA. My chemistry teacher was a UCLA chemistry teacher, and he fucking taught at my community college. He was teaching me. Same material. One class was less than $200. The other one that he was teaching was thousands. Be smart. Like, come on. Like, it can be done.
That never occurred to me before. But listening to you talk about different schools and stuff like that, and how the course material is all the same, it's sort of, I've come to the realization that when you talk about somewhere like Harvard or one of these big prestigious schools, all you're really talking about is like Calvin Klein or Guess jeans or some designer fucking label clothing, basically, but of learning this, right?
Yeah, the fruit of the loom of schools for, you know.
Okay, well, like I shop at fucking Value Village and places like that, so that's, you know, I get
Oh,
that.
the fruit of the loom is like it's not Calvin
Oh
Klein.
no, I'm down with the
Yeah.
fruit of the loom. Trust me, I get that. They sell at Mark's Work Warehouse. That's where I get my work boots from.
But hey, man, like shit can get done, and I just don't see a reason to go to a prestigious school if you don't need to go. You know, don't be ashamed. Like it's okay. You're just paying for the prestige. That's it. I don't really care about that. I'm just here for the knowledge, and if they happen to give me a fancy piece of paper that says I did something, great. That would be nice if that gave me some more money. Then I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. Then I'm gonna appreciate it a little bit more. But yeah, I got, like I was just saying before, like I got 3 certs like recently. I don't even have them hung up, and it's funny because I was getting it from my family members, like, oh yeah, why don't you hang that up? Like you worked hard, you're you know, aren't you proud? It's like, yeah, I'm proud of the work I did, but whether that piece of paper is there or not, I did that work and I got the knowledge, and I'm fucking proud of myself for that work. I know that's supposed to represent it, but it's just like, whatever, man. I have that memory. I know I fucking put in the fucking work and the hours. Yeah, it's just a piece of paper to me. Like same thing with money. Like I wouldn't really give a shit about money if it didn't give me food, shelter, and medicine. All right? If I could get those things without the fucking pieces of paper, yeah, I'm good. You know, that's why I'm learning about all these things and sustainability, whatever you want to call it, regeneration, because I don't have a lot of money. I'm trying to save whatever I can. And when I do get my property, I'm going to try to have it be as off grid as possible, but I am going to eventually have it lined up with the grid just in case something happens, you know, an emergency happens, we need power, or we're going to have it, or we don't have water because there was a drought year, you know, for a month, and then we're just waiting for the rains. Yeah, I want to be hooked up to the water, and same thing with gas. I might move to somewhere where it's really fucking snowy. I don't think I can afford it here, but if I can't afford it, I would probably go to San Diego or NorCal, you know. But if I can't afford it, I mean, I might just gonna go East Coast, you know, and then I'm gonna have to really, really fucking be wise with that. That's why I've been taking these design classes and landscape design and everything like that, because I'm gonna have enough property where I'm gonna need to design it, you know, and whatever, I'll design it and then I'll pay someone that like can get it approved by the county. It's like, okay, yeah, what do you want? $1,000, 3,000, whatever, to just like get this fucking moving. Okay, but use these designs, and if you see anything that's fucked up, any bad math, fix it. And then I'm done. You know, like I have been considering getting the cert for it, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. If I do get it, it's because I have a gap in when I'm going to school, and it's just going to be like, well, it's going to be a couple of years before I go to school for what I want, actually. So I kind of need to get paid to do something. So I might as well get some knowledge in that. And it all equals out to what I want in the end. And I just want some property. I'm going to have a couple businesses on it that actually work with each other. Composting, plants, mushrooms, worms, boom, they all use each other. They all fucking and just build off that, just kind of like regenerative model. It's like they're all eating off each other, they're all fucking expanding. And if the money that I would be making was just be to help out the community and paying people to help me out with that business, and then that would just be paying the fucking bills. I don't need to get rich. I Like for people that's what they want to do, cool. Like it's just not my vibe. I want to be on my own piece of land doing my own thing. If family wants to come and stay with me, cool. Like I'm gonna have a couple acres. I'll be fine with that. Go to that acre. Like you're good. Pay me some rent. If you really feel bad, help out, and just know like I'm definitely not gonna go to a state that's not gonna let me grow a fucking plant. First off, and then second off, would be the mushrooms. So just like looking at all that, and then it would just be costs would be the main thing I'd be looking at. But yeah, that's why the whole Colorado thing is exciting me, because it's hopefully it's the first stone, in the long line of stones that need to be thrown up at fucking the laws, that have been keeping us fucking confined and saying like, no, you're wrong. It's like, no, you're fucking wrong. Like this shit is helping people. So you're ignoring it. So I'm hoping that maybe I'll end up in Colorado. I don't know. I'm open to any place that letting me come in. But yeah, I'm down to fucking just do my own thing, my own place, grow my own medicine. Yeah, grow food as medicine. That would be the first fucking thing. But yeah, as soon as I have that piece of property, I'm making sure that I have access to water, because you're not going to have plants if you don't have water. You're not going to have life yourself. Don't have water. Look, that's part of the reason the landscaping thing, the landscape design interested me, because it was just showing me how I can design all of that. Like 3 years ago, I was just getting my feet wet on it, and now I'm actually taking a class, because I was just looking into it, and I was like, fuck it, man, I'll take a class on it, because I'm actually interested, and I've met some really cool people out of it. So that's another thing with school. You're gonna expand your portfolio, as they'll say. Like you're gonna meet a lot of people. I've met, like, I actually worked at a hemp farm, like right before COVID hit. So I wouldn't have had that job if I didn't go to that class that semester. So I got to meet a hemp farmer like down in San Diego, work at his place for a bit, and it was fucking dope. Like I really loved it, and that's what made me want to like have that. Where I just saw him, he had his own property, he was doing his own thing, and all he had to worry about was just make sure you pay the bills, and everything else was just well designed. He actually had a pretty good sustainable design going. His property lined up with a creek too. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that part of my life. Right now I'm in the saving stage, in the planning stage. So looking forward to that. Hopefully, 3 years from now, I'm getting much closer to that, but slowly but surely. That's why I mention all these things I'm interested in, because I did the math and I'm like, that actually, okay, I can feed what I need to the worms and they fucking take in whatever. Okay, I feed that to plants. I have carbon material from like the dead material to feed some of my mushrooms, and then fruit. Okay, that goes in full circle again. So don't really mind if someone else takes that idea, whatever. I help you out. Let me see you do it first, I guess. Fuck it. See if it works. But at very least, want to start off slowly starting off with mushrooms. And then I just have the warm bins right now, so I know how to handle them. And then as I want, your best bet is to make your mistakes small. All right. If this goes with anything. If you're going to be going into tissue culture, all right, don't do 100 fucking containers at a time. All right. Just mess up on like 3 or 5. Start slowly. Start with a small kit. There's like, let me see. I think it's Plant Cell Technology sells a kit, and they even do one for specifically cannabis. I'm sure you could go on their site. I haven't done it. I haven't bought anything from them. I just know them very well because I follow them on Instagram. You could buy a kit, and it's not too expensive considering they're giving you everything you need and they're giving you the instructions on how to do it. But if you really want to like know the knowledge, then just read the books that I recommended before. Just have that going in the background, while you're cutting the plants. You'll get to learn the I wish I had the list of books in front of me. But yeah, just go ahead and watch more towards the end of the tissue culture talk. And there's some literature that I recommend, and then I actually use some of the illustrations from there too. So I made sure that I cited properly, and none of the work or conversations that I have on this, I don't make money from. Okay. This is all purely for educational purposes. So there's no problem with that. Like there's no copyright infringement. Hopefully there's none from as far as I know, as long as it's for educational purposes, it's just like, oh, okay, well, they're using that to learn. And I didn't like not giving you the whole book. You can look it up yourself. And if anything, it's an endorsement of the work that they put in. You can also, what I like about going to school is that I actually have access to a lot of scientific documents. And if you just pay for one semester of school, like, yeah, you'll get that sweet healthcare. Yeah. But also you'll get access to their, there's a couple like SciLib is one, but there's a couple of databases where you can access all of this information. Like you could just type in plant tissue culture and it'll give you studies of what people are working on. And you can also type in plant tissue culture bioreactor, and you can even get the most recent studies on stuff that's already being worked on. And we were talking about peyote. So maybe you look up some work that people are doing, some studying that they're doing on cacti, and you can get a little help on like, okay, how do I know what this species of plant needs to go into tissue culture? How much hormones do I need to know where it's going to be the right ratios? That's going to be a good starter. There's some information out there. I'm sure I haven't really seen any blogs on it other than Plant Cell Technology. They have a couple of blogs that they actually talk about tissue culture with cannabis. So you could look up that. I was actually reading up on one that was talking about vanilla orchids, so Vanilla planifolia. And that's actually where we get vanilla from, is from an orchid seed pod.
Hey, Raptor, real quick, man. I don't mean to shut this down, but we need a moment of silence for you motherfucking hot lighter. All right, now go ahead. We're good. Thanks. I just had to get that out there. Sorry.
Thank you. It was good lighter.
That's
Lots of joints, big blunts.
I
Was it
figured you wanted to
big
put
or
that.
like,
You're in a better place now.
On with this.
where's the Zippo? Was it like,
That was big, man. That's big money.
okay.
Hey, am I one of the only weirdos who am actually totally okay with lighting my weed with fucking Zippo? Like, I know people who will just absolutely freak the fuck out if you light their shit with a Zippo. I'm totally cool with it. What y'all think?
No, I'm down with it, but here's my problem. The Zippo's got to speak to me. I can't just use any Zippo, and therefore I don't have one at the moment because I had a really sweet Iron Maiden Zippo that meant the world for me for all of about 2 weeks before I fucking lost it at work.
Yeah.
And you better believe everything I fucking lit was with that Zippo lighter. It was fucking amazing. And the guy at work that never has a lighter, that's always, hey, let me borrow your lighter. Here, light this. I was like, get fucked. You ain't touching this thing. This is worth more than gold, which is worth more than your life. And then, you just go down that route with them. And like, I don't even think it was 2 weeks. I fucking lost it. It's like, son of a bitch.
See, now I had like, I think maybe I knew my wife for like a month at this point. She bought me a Zippo that I had for fucking ever. Engraved, it was a nice little thing. And right, I had that motherfucker ever, and I was a smoker back then too, smoked everything. So, you always had my trusty lighter, and that lighter meant fucking everything, like you said. But yeah, anytime fucking I get ready to whip that bitch out, light a joint, my fucking circle boy, they would bitch. Fucking goddamn, they get mad at me.
Well, that's just because you were so much cooler than they were, because you had this badass Zippo, and they were like, Bics are fucking sweet. A Bic lighter is badass. Hey, works like a motherfucking charm. Not no badass Zippo fluff. It was a jealousy thing. That's what all I'm saying.
Bro, you can do cool tricks and flips and shit with a fucking Bic, right? Like, what can you do? You can do like the knuckle thing, and that's about it.
On plenty of tricks. Yeah, I used to be able to like just snap, like make it look like it's snapping, but like the actual sound was just like the Zippo opening, and then just go like that, and it's bam, open in my hands. But the first trick I knew was to just like, you graze it across your leg, and then you graze it back, and it's lit. Just like,
see, you got to get the thing where you did the snap, you opened it up, then you flicked it to the start, then you tossed it up, you grabbed it upside down, then flicked it, and then caught it in your pocket. See, now that's how you got to do that shit. I used to be able to do part of it.
I was throwing it up and down and shit like that. I'm way too clumsy, and it snows around here. Holy fuck! That would have been certain death for sure.
Yeah, that was high school tricks. Funny enough, I think I started smoking cigarettes like a year after I started smoking cannabis. And that was like, I was 13 years when I started smoking cannabis. So I had cannabis first before my cigarette. But I stopped smoking cigarettes when I was 18. And funny enough, I stopped drinking when I was 21. I was drinking and doing all that shit at like 13, 14 years old, just being a little fucking degenerate, little shit. But it's, I got partied out, man. Like I did all my drinking in high school. Went to like, by the time I was 21, my friends that were turning 21 as well, they're like, oh, let's go to the fucking bar. Let's go to the club. It's like, dude, I fucking lit. You're doing shit I did when I was 14. So I was burnout. I was that fucking burnout where, then I just had enough. And then I started going to like focusing on school. Once I kind of just like got out of the party scene, but I still had fun. I still actually, I still used cannabis. I still use psychedelics. So that's, once I stopped drinking, I actually went more towards psychedelics, and it was such a fucking trip, man. Like, for so long, I'm one of those people that needs to like, I did not get high on my first joint. Like, it must have been like 3 or 5 joints, later, where I was like, oh, okay, I get it. Yeah, my friends were just like, just try it, and it didn't smell bad either. So I was like, all right, it tastes better than cigarettes. So yeah, same thing happened with psychedelics. And then I'm such a fucking beast with the, my tolerance levels. Like, I need a lot. So when I took what I believed was acid, I'm pretty sure it's LSA, not LSD. But anyway, for so long I took acid and it was not doing anything for me. And it's like, okay, you just feel a little good. It was like kind of like what I would do for a microdose. And it's like, all right, I'm having a good time, but it's more of like, yeah, it's just a good day. But then it's when I started, like, I took like 10 tabs in. Then I started like doing those dosages where I would fucking ego death, man. Once I was doing that, kind of like pulling in those numbers, yeah, I'm going down that fucking rabbit hole. Yeah. What about you guys? I know you guys are still involved with the mushrooms and stuff like that. I haven't done LSD or LSA in a long time.
Like the last time I did acid, because acid and cocaine were kind of my preferred drugs once I stepped away from smoking weed when I was earlier. And that was then there. I didn't stop doing acid. It just kind of disappeared. It was just all of a sudden it wasn't around. You couldn't find it anymore and you didn't think about it. And there was probably 5 or 6 years I remember. And I remember my buddy Jay just shows up at my apartment with fucking sheets of acid that him and a buddy had lost at their buddy's house like a few years before, I guess. And they ended up in a binder or like a book or some shit like that hidden in there. And that was like fucking wow. That was a religious experience after not doing it for years and years. But my thing was, you'd always drop in like 4 quads, stuff like that, to the point where you're like you're effed up to the point where you almost got to be there with like maybe just one other person, and they're on just as much as you are, kind of stuff where it's just
If I'm doing acid, I'm doing acid.
Yeah.
Like period. I'm going in.
Yeah.
Like I'm
it's you could do doubles and you that might be okay, and a quad will give you a decent bump, but if you're gonna explore the fucking universe, so to speak, like let's fly.
That's what I'm down for. Like some people are like, that's like I could never do that, but I actually attribute that to like a lot of my personal healing. And I'm not saying everyone go do this and it's going to work for everyone. It's just happened to be my story that I'm telling about my experience. But yeah, when like just what I really like the term ego death, because personally, whenever I came out of it, it felt like I got torn apart and then I put myself back together. And when you get out of that, not all of your pieces are together. And part of it is just like figuring out, okay, wow, what really does matter to me? It starts breaking down a lot of fucking bullshit walls where it's like, why did I care about that? What that person said? It's like, I should just be enjoying my fucking life. Like, who cares? Like, oh, why am I going to school? What do I really want out of this? It helped me come to a lot of personal conclusions, like where it's like, what am I doing to grow as a person? So that's where I come along with it. That's how psychedelics help me personally. That's why I tell people like, yeah, fucking grow mushrooms. Like if you can do peyote extractions or anything like that, or San Pedro extractions, mushrooms are nice. They're a lot more easily accessible. They can grow in 2 months. If you're okay with waiting another month, it's even easier. Like I was just saying before. Yeah, it's I highly recommend psychedelics for what I like. If I could talk to myself when I was younger, I would just recommend myself at a younger age. Just like, yeah, take it, and maybe even do some microdoses too. Wish I knew about that, but there was no such thing of microdoses. When I was growing up, it was just like,
that's the whole information, where in the lack thereof, and how it's a great new world or era that we're into now, because it's just we didn't know about this stuff. You took mushrooms to get high. Yeah, you have all these great otherworldly experiences, religious ego death, like so many wonderful or negative things that can be extracted from these things like that. But something like microdosing, where it was like, oh, we're just going to take this little tiny nibble of this fucking mushroom to the point of you're not even going to feel it. And it, like, thinking of myself back, even if we did have knowledge, okay, microdosing and stuff like that back then, I probably would have been like, what the fuck is the point of that?
Right. Yeah.
That's getting to be where I guess you need that ego death to happen again. Oh my God, I ate too much. I should have just went for the little nibble, just like Raptor told me. Oh man, I'm dying.
I'm crazy. Like I said, I push it to the limit because I know, like, for whatever reason, my fucking tolerance is a rhinoceros, dude. Like I gotta fucking take a lot to like bring that motherfucker down. But I caution people, make sure you know yourself, just because I fucking like takes rhino tranks to fucking take me down. Like, I don't recommend that for everyone. Like, I used to take 500 milligram edibles, like, and then just go to sleep. I'm like, all right, cool, just had a good night's sleep. It's like, I tell that to people, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, they take 50 and they're okay. It's like, yeah, but also I've been smoking like for a long time, and I don't even smoke anymore, but I have a vape. So I've been using this fucking plant for a long time, since I was 13. So like, my tolerance break is sleep.
I remember a while back that my old lady had a line on these edibles, and I was eating 1,500 milligram edibles on the show. And don't get me wrong, I'm high at that, but I'm good and high. But I'm still feeling like I'm going to go walking through walls, and I'm still up commenting on social media how, like, yeah, I'm high, but here I am still going, smoking joints, doing dabs and stuff like that. With the mushrooms, though, I find that that's different. You
hit a wall. Yeah,
I used to just eat as much as I could, because the whole point was to get as effed up as humanly possible for the most of the years and have these amazing experiences and stuff. And then I stopped doing them. I like changed my life, quit drinking, doing this and all that, and then eventually started with cannabis again. And after, I don't know, maybe 7-8 years or something like that, I got the itch that, I just, mushroom sounds like something, yeah. Because at this point, I don't drink anymore. And the most effed up I'm going to do is by getting dabs. And yeah, that'll get me effed up. But I when you really want to ramp it up and this, so like kind of tie one on, like when you go out drinking. So mushrooms is going to be my equivalent, I guess, is what I was thinking and hoping. And I remember, but I was like, okay, it's been a few years, more than that. So I remember I'll just take it slow. And I think it was eat a gram, wait half hour, whatever. Feeling good. Fucking, yeah, okay, do more. And I think I got up to, it wasn't even 4 grams. I think it was actually an eighth, like 3.5 or something like that. And, having the time of my life. And I remember listening to, was it the Moonshine Bandits, that song for the Outlaws? Okay, just heavy bass. And I've got like a Mesa Boogie bass cabinet for like concert level bass guitar cabinet for my bass cab on my house stereo, and just rolling in the bass and because we're playing YouTube music or whatever, the YouTube version of Spotify, and you have the album cover up on the TV, and you're just like the vibrant blues, I remember rolling over me and shit like that. And then after a while, I remember, okay, we're done with the music for a bit. Let's watch some TV, because you know how sometimes that is. Whatever we were fucking was not the thing to be watching. I can't even recall what it was, and that kind of set me into the tailspin where, again, all of a sudden I got to go hide in the bedroom, and it was okay. I got through that, but then I kind of realized the next morning I wake up great, maybe had some of this ego death you're talking about or whatever, and it was like, okay, at the end of it, it was a good experience, but I now feel that I don't need to experience that anymore. Like I've seen there, been there, done that, and it just that part doesn't interest me anymore. But I still had this big bag of mushrooms because I bought like an ounce or a half ounce or whatever it was, and still had them. And then about a year ago, I think it was, I did a gram or two during the show. And same thing, I got a decent buzz, not too obscene or anything like that, but it was kind of meh. the almost like the death knell. I don't need to do this anymore. Like there's something in my body that's just, I don't know, maybe I found whatever it was I was looking for on that last experience a couple of years previous that I was just talking about. But
I never got to get into the psychedelic. It was never really a thing of mine, but I think that was also by like circumstance. Because as you guys are talking about it, and I'm sitting here fucking thinking about it, like every time any of my homies were like, "Bro, we got the acid tonight, or we got the shrooms tonight," my stoner ass is always showing up everywhere late, right? So by the time I get there, shit's gone. Everybody's fucked up. So I just got to like see the complete mess they were all fucked up, and got to go fuck with them. So I had a good old time, and then I'd take my ass over to, go get fucking high, and I missed a good time. So I think it was just by circumstance. I never got into it, but
and never too late.
No, it is because I did way too much. I played with shrooms for a while, and I got definitely to the ego death, and ever since I clearly remember what it was trying to tell me, and it told me, it made its point, and I've never ever felt the need to go back to it. So
and that's fine too.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I think. That's what you're all looking for, right? Yeah. Is that one time to say, "Hey, I don't fucking need this anymore," and I hit it. I was done. I've never felt the need to go back, and I had many a good times. I mean, I absolutely would do anything to get to that point of like the laughter, right? The just uncontrollable, everything is fucking hilarious laughter right before shit really gets deep. That was always my absolute fucking favorite, and I would go back to that in a heartbeat and like daily. But I know where the rest of that leads, and but I've never felt the need. Like, yeah, I know I could do that theoretically, right? I can figure out that dose just perfectly and hit that every time, but I don't need to. It's cool. I'm good. So
yeah. I mean, to be honest, besides from microdosing, I haven't done a larger dose than what I've been of the spawn that I used for microdosing. I took probably like 2 grams recently, but that I didn't even really feel it. I just had a really good day. I went out for a hike, and it was beautiful. Like it was an awesome hike where I usually go in the oak woodlands where I grew up. It's just like right across the street from me. I literally walk 2 minutes. I'm in the fucking forest. It's awesome. And yeah, I was just walking on trails that I've never been before, just having fun. But aside from that, it was New Year's where I did 9-10 grams of like the actual sclerotia. And I was just laughing like uncontrollably, like with friends. So it was just a really good time, and that's the last time I did it. So I didn't feel the need to like go to the point where I was before, where I was taking like all those large doses of acid, but I was just comfortable and I was laughing my ass off and having a fucking good time with friends. That's where I really don't mind. And I used to get there, like I used to do like have fun with powders too. Like back in my I was a rowdy fucking kid. Like I got into some fucking trouble. So to have this as like a medium, I don't drink anymore, and I don't even go as far as smoking cigarettes. So if I really feel more comfortable with the mushrooms too, and especially knowing like I go as far as getting organic grains. All right. So everything I'm doing is straight up organic, like nothing sprayed at all. I don't have to worry. Like if there's one thing I'm worried about for Colorado and this emerging industry is that how are you sourcing your materials? Is it clean? And if you're saying it's medicine, are you going about it the way that we do in the medical field for like the pharmaceutical medical field, where it's that fucking clean? Because it should be, and then I see like certain kits out there that where it's not, like they can't guarantee that for you.
Yeah, but you know what the problem is? It's going to go exactly the way that medical cannabis has. Are we growing everything as awesome as, it started when, are those standards even in place for a medical compared to a recreational grow anymore? Fuck no, they don't give a shit anymore. None of that's. So yeah, it'll start out the exact same way. They're going to do it all great. You'll have fucking great medicine and they'll be, they'll do everything right for about 5 fucking minutes. And then somebody with some money is going to get involved and then it's over. And
Cutting
then
corners.
and it goes right back to the trash. And if you want anything good, grow your fucking own. So
yeah, man, I get organic millet. I mean, is that going to be the standard from now on? Like, anything less than that? Some people are like okay with not doing, like they'll get non-organic corn, and it's like, I'm not necessarily concerned about the GMOs. It's just what they fucking spray around it, like. And the reason a lot of them are GMOs is because they're herbicide and pesticide and resistant, so that they can spray them anyway, and then they're not being affected by that's what's being sprayed. So that was the only time I would be like, okay, but GMO, why was it GMO? Okay, what did they do? We're actually, this is actual biotechnology. That's GMO. So that's, if you really want to get into it, just look into that, and they'll straight up say, like, read the studies. This is why I like being in school as well, because I can read those studies if I'm really interested. But it's sad. I don't want to see it. Like, I go on Shroomery and I look at some of this stuff, and I'm just like, well, how do we know how the mushrooms are being affected? Like, these are bioaccumulators. These are bioaccumulators. Like, the oysters can clean up an oil spill, but am I gonna be eating those oysters? How like they're fucking like the best biochemists I could ever think of in nature. They're straight up taking carbon and breaking that apart from, and carbons are they're just breaking those chains, like from carbon to hydrogen or whatever else it's infused with, or bonded with, sorry. And it's awesome that they're doing this, but are we testing that material? Hopefully we'll test that material and be like, okay, what's on this? Was it ever sprayed with anything? So that's where my next concern is. I mean, I understand not everyone gets organic everything, and I don't even buy organic everything, but it's because I just try to get organic of what I know is heavily fucking sprayed.
Well, and the other thing is, I mean, you try to source and know what the fuck you're getting, because even organic certified anymore is a giant fucking joke. That's a giant fucking joke. So,
yeah, I do it for the grains because I know that it would be sprayed otherwise. So that's why it's okay. Let you on a little secret. Guess what? Buy more and you save more. All right. So if you're gonna be getting into mycology, and you're going to be pulling some weight out and like doing this for a while, get that 50-pound fucking bag. All right. And you're going to be paying way fucking less. Yeah. I'm buying organic, and I'm getting organic millet, but I get it for $1 a pound. I know people that are paying more for that than non-organic corn, and it's just like, it's okay for me. I'm willing to pay 20 cents more if it's even that per pound, and I save so much fucking money. So I'm not holding any secrets, man. Like, that's what I do. But if you ever buy anything from me, you're paying for what I did, like the work that I did, not for how much that fucking shit costs. But that is in the math there. Like, I am putting it in. So that's why also for when I do start selling that stuff, you don't like my prices, I also taught you how to fucking do the damn thing. I'll direct you to all the knowledge that you need to know, and you could do it. But from what I've heard from a lot of people, that just what they want from me are just fucking set it and forget it kits. And I'm just like, that I can't do that right now. Like, if I could do it, it would be in a super small, like, batches at a time. So I could probably do like 10 at a time. But I'm just like you guys. I'm in my room. Like, I would need to have these orders ahead of time where it's like, okay, make it worth it. So that's why I'm just like starting off with liquid culture for now. And then if people want grains, okay, I'll probably move on to that. But I'm just going to be sticking with that for a while. There's so many different ways of making money in it. You can, like I said, I'm looking more of the myco supply side. You can be the mushroom farmer if you want. There's many other ways of getting at it. You can be the person that makes a like, holy shit, Fluff, like when I found out you're a welder, I was like, yeah, I could use some laminar flow hoods. That sounds nice. Make them nice with some stainless steel. Yeah, sure. I could sure use like a fucking sterilizer. Like just take out, like, use 100 gallon, 50 gallon drums so I can fuse them together, weld them tight, nice and tight, shit like that. Like, there's you could totally do that and make a fucking killing, man. I've seen it. And you could just make things for people in the industry. And guess what? The richest motherfuckers that came out of the gold rush didn't fucking pan for gold. They sold to the motherfuckers that were panning for the gold.
They sold the pans and the picks.
Yeah, exactly. No matter what, you're gonna need it. Right?
That's right. No, actually, I got to go through a nice extraction facility with a friend of the community. So we were going through this thing, and it was just cool as shit to go see it. But then, exactly, the industrial man in me is looking at all of it going, holy fuck, this is nothing more than everything I make on a daily basis. And not only do I, and it's like, not only do I know how to make that, I have made that more than a couple times. Like, this is simple. And then, you put that on scale and you're like, holy shit, this really is achievable. Problem is the raw material is still more than I want to pay for it. But the making of it, exactly.
And even for like vermiculture, like, there's people that are making money from just the like a separator drum, like, that just goes around, like it just turns.
Just a screen.
It's basically just a screen and like in a barrel shape. In a cylindrical shape, and they just have it go, and it separates the bedding material from the worms, and they fucking love it because, bam, you got your worms right here. You got what you needs to be sold right there. You're set. There's so many ways of like. That's why I got into all those different things, because there's a lot of potential for everything. But the most approachable thing for me, and I encourage others, like, is liquid culture. Like, start looking into liquid culture to expand upon that. You don't need to go into agar, but I encourage going into agar so you can test how aseptic you are being. And by aseptic, I just mean being sterile with all your cultures. So you want to make sure it's clean, but it's very easy. And like I said, it's just making a bioreactor. You just buy a $30, go on Amazon. Don't like Amazon, whatever, go somewhere else. Go on Amazon. There's a stirring plate there for $30. For another $10, you get a set of stir rods. All right, put in some. You can use. There's different methods of doing it, but you need a sugar. You need some clean source of water, and that's about it. And then you just insert some genetic material, some fungi. You could have it be psychedelic. You could have it be a gourmet. whatever the fuck. You could have it be medicinal, reishi, expand upon that. It takes a little bit, but yeah, within the month you'll be good. And then if you want to go a little bit fancier, have it be a heated stir plate and just have it be going, once every hour or so, have it set up on timers, then just agitate the material more and more. It's going to be expanding more and more. So it's really cool. Like I said, you could do that again with tissue culture. You could do the same thing if you're of your favorite plant. Yeah, it's going to take a while, but you'll have way more from just that one piece of genetic material.
Hey, you know what? That brings it to a good point right there to say, think about that, and we will fucking have something for the next time we got you to talk about.
Sweet.
It is getting late.
Yeah. And I was talking to Cariboo before. If you guys need help setting up, just let me know. And I'll help you set up with tissue culture, mycology. You already got the warm bins going on. I don't need to teach you anything. But yeah, just let me know if you guys want to do like what needs to be done. I already told you guys what needs to be done for a setup, but like just updates on how you guys are doing, and I'll update you on my setup because I'm actually finally having time to get everything going. Like there's been so many situations that have been coming up, but it was a rough couple months for me. But yeah, I'm getting back to where I was. My veg tent is up. Got some got the blue raspberry truffles closing up outdoors. My tent has some wedding cake by I believe watermelon Skittles, whatever. I don't know. Copyright me, whatever.
Yeah.
So I got that going, and then I got some Loving in Her Eyes going too. So I'm looking forward to all that. So keep an eye on all that. If you guys are interested, follow me on Instagram, RaptorGrow, just like it says here, lowercase and everything. Actually need to, I might talk to you guys about StreamYard, looking into that because I want to start showing all my sterile work as well on YouTube. So I won't be saying like, hey, yeah, I'm working with some pink oysters here. So you guys infer the rest, but I'll be able to show you guys how to do that. I'm going to be showing how to do cultures with tissue culture as well. So slowly whatever mistakes I make, you can see it live, or pre-recorded. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, I'm going to be doing it anyway. I might as well just put a fucking camera there and be aware that I can't play the cool music that I like. Maybe just have a headset, a little Bluetooth earbud on one ear where I'm listening to some jams and then talking on the other side. While
there we go.
But yeah, thanks guys. Thanks for having me on. If anyone has any future questions about tissue culture, mycology, we're talking vermicomposting and everything like that. Also interested in a lot of things like tropical, subtropical, gardening. I mentioned that I grow orchids, like the vanilla orchids and all that. I have a lot of fun with that on the side. I'm letting that grow, I don't really do updates on that, but I really should. So I really need to get back on the horse with everything. I just need some equipment I'll just be using my phone. I'm not using anything fancy, but I need something to hold up the phone for me because I've been doing that for too long with my own hands. And then I'll see how much StreamYard's free, right? Unless you want more stuff.
Yeah, we've got call it like what is it? I think it's called the basic package, which you pay. It's similar to Zoom in prices, and then there's an add-on so you can have administrators. Because one of the biggest problems we've had is, especially come summertime, BC, there isn't always cell service, and maybe I'll be next week. I'll be at a concert for our Friday night show, and that goes off, right? So I'm not always able to start the show, but you can. There's an add-on package where you can have guys like Fluff and Raider, and I think Colton and Paula
Pre-authorized.
Yeah, and they can get it all to go on. That's where that and video sharing is where StreamYard is fucking huge, because you see how we've got them all. Like I'm assuming you can see them below the screen here. We got a bunch of videos lined up that we can bam, the intro, the outro, the dab frog, and all that.
All right, that's cool. Yeah, I'll have to check it out. I mean, I haven't looked into it for $100 to $150, whatever. I think I could do that, and then just people have been asking it for a while. If I need the money later on, can't afford it, I'll just put a Patreon or something. If people really want to see me doing it, okay, fine. Throw down $2-5. Help me do it. Like, help me pay for this once a month.
Yep.
And that's all I would ask for. It's like, well, you want it to be a little better. It's like, well, then, help me out. I'll fucking do it. It's like, I'm not gonna put it in my back pocket and be like, oh, fuck you all. Yeah, then I'll put in some more effort. Like, I fucking swear. So we'll see how that goes. I prefer to just like pay for what I can, but it's a lot of free information, and I spent my time doing it, and I value my time, and I'll make sure to appreciate you guys too. If I might do like a once a month culture giveaway, right? Like something like that.
Cool.
So yeah, like, and as there's more people, then I'll do more cultures, and it's not a big deal for me. Put the genetics out, help someone out. I'm thinking probably some gourmets, some other pink oysters, and we'll see where that goes. We'll see where it goes. But thanks again for having me on, you guys. It's always a lot of fun. Whenever you want to do a follow-up, more than fine with me. But very happy to get back in touch with you guys. I wanted there to be an open forum for questions, because last time it was just like, you guys were like, oh, we want to know about tissue culture. We want like a tissue culture 101. I'm like, how much time? It's like, oh, you're asking for like 16 weeks of material.
Well, dude, there was so much involved in that. I don't think, well, you obviously knew what we were getting into, but I don't think anybody on the receiving end was expecting that. And then it was just like, okay, like I've watched it. I think it was like 3.5 times that I got through there, and you're compiling, because they're like, this is great stuff, but it's when you're watching it and you're trying to acknowledge live chat, pay attention to what you're saying, take notes, and it's just like, wow, it is an in-depth subject.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, once I have more background on it and I have more seasons of growing with this back to back, hey, eventually, once I know that for sure this is going to work every time for me, I have like full-on protocols. Yeah, I'll fucking teach it, charge whatever, and then, hey, come on over, see it, and then give them access to a pre-record if they need to see it. But that would be the main way that it would happen. Or like maybe Patreon, you have access to those pre-recordings, and you can learn like in depth. I'll teach you like, okay, how to do it this way, why it's important to do it that way. So yeah, but thanks again for having me on, guys. Hopefully, if you need advice on where to get access to the materials or any book or information, please let me know. If you're having trouble of finding the information somehow, or what I covered in last recordings session was not in depth enough, or you needed explanation for something, please let me know. To panel, to chat, let me know what's up. Like, I don't know the questions unless people ask them. That's why before I was like, hey, can you ask this in your Discord? Like, because I want there to be engagement. Like, I don't want to be the teacher who's just reading a book, who's just teaching through the book, and then a bunch of students are just fucking like, oh, okay. Like I want, like for the people that want to get into it.
Yeah.
So yeah, glad we covered that. And yeah, if anyone needs any of my help, let me know. I'm an open book. I do what I can with the time that I have. Yeah. Cheers all. Happy harvesting and happy growing.
Right. Cheers, everyone. Thanks for hanging out in the live chat once again. Great show. Thank you, Raptor, for coming on with us again. Let's just give a quick shout out to our Patreon contributors. Oh, did I lose the list? Oh, I think I lost the list. Shit, fuck. I just fucked that up. I just didn't have the list ready. I got it. Got it. Here we go. All right, Hooli, we got you there, brother. High and Tight, Thunder Dan, Day Neutral Preserves, Noob Grows, Who Be Growing Doobies, Ziggy's Garden, South Nelson Farms, Astro Charlie, G-Bay Genetics, Lobster Bush Bro, Chef Paula the Great, BC Stoner Mom, Stony Motherfucking Rockefeller, Crazy Pop Mom, Raider Dank Vader, and Hypathetical Genetics. Thank y'all for making the wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round. And we're done.
coffin and I dug myself a hole. The fear had buried me. The youth that want me turned me cold. I need asylum in prison. Forgotten and buried. Forgotten and buried. Well, I guess I'll never think about the future, 'cause I've been wrong before. Well, I guess I'll never think about the future,
All right, so we have the sexiest goodbye in the biz. Y'all have known that for a fact for a long time. Now, how about the sexiest merch in the biz? We finally got it. Concert style t-shirts, long and short sleeves, Toke stickers, you name it, water bottles. Head over to the CaribooHartTV.com. Hit up the merch shop. It's all there. Get your swag on. Have a great night.